Hi, my name is Amenda Lee, and I'm the author of Nourish, which is a book about food and human connection. When I first decided to write this book earlier in 2020, I initially thought that I would be writing a cookbook geared for young college students like myself, learning how to cook on a budget while also cooking healthily for themselves. As I started this process, however, I realized that my true passion for food and for cooking is not really just recipe development, but it's really because of all the social and human relationships that cooking enforces and facilitates. In my book, I will be talking about topics of cultural awareness, topics of food and family and friends, and how people can use cooking as a creative outlet. But I'll also be talking about a few darker topics that aren't really discussed as much in the food world, like food deserts and food justice. And I also talk about something that I coined, which is called cultural dilution, and how it's really seen in a lot of the food cultures that have come to America and made their place here. I had the pleasure of interviewing a lot of people, some of which are my closest friends or family members. Some of the most prominent interviews I had included a body positive social media influencer. Her name is Brittany Lancaster, and you might know her on TikTok from her What I Eat in a Day videos. I also interviewed two professors from the University of Southern California, both which are professors in the USC Dorrance School and specifically in the Thematic Option Honors Program. And I also had the pleasure of interviewing my grandmother and a lot of my family members who actually speak Korean, so I learned a lot about my own heritage and culture from that. I talk about cultural awareness and how my own travels and the travels of people I've interviewed have tied into their understanding and appreciation of not only food, but different cultures and different countries and different traditions that they would have never been exposed to if not through the lens of food. Another chapter, I talked about social media and food and how the social media landscape that has characterized this century really has changed the food industry and the food world, both for the better and for the worst. In some ways, it can perpetuate really unhealthy eating standards that can inadvertently trigger eating disorders. But in other ways, it's become a really beautiful mechanism to help humans connect to each other from across the world and across genders, across cultures, and across ethnicities and races. And I think that's something that's very beautiful and something that's very interesting. My goal for this book is to shed a new light on how food is perceived, not only in the media, but by people like you and me. So I hope that this book is something that helps readers really reflect on their own lives and how their own food decisions and relationships with food really make the person that they are and really say a lot about who they are and what they stand for. My name is Amenda Lee, and I'm the author of Nourish, which is a book about food and human connection.